In today's video, we're going to be going over a handful of features that I think the vehicles and cars in Grand Theft Auto 6 are going to have that were found in the second trailer and the screenshots that Rockstar provided that I think a lot of fans missed or might not have noticed. We'll be going over some of those in this video today and a whole lot more. So let me know in those comments down below. Feel free to get involved. Did you notice these features? Did you not? And if you have any other ones, please be sure to let us know down there. So the first thing is we might be getting vehicles with manual transmissions. So I'm pretty sure in every Grand Theft Auto game, the only cars that have been available are automatic cars. They shift for you. For with the exception of, I think, some of the races in Grand Theft Auto Online that actually have manual transmission, but every car that you just hop in, you don't actually have to shift gears. Unless you're stopping the vehicle, going in reverse, or going forward, that's all you have to do. And so in this screenshot right here, it was the fifth one that Rockstar posted for Ambrosia. First of all, there's a lot going on here. In fact, we'll actually go back to this screenshot in a little bit. And we've even talked about this in the past because this looks like Wyman, who's one of the characters found in the leaks. But Wyman here, he is holding the clutch in, not the brake. So if we look in, the clutch is going to be the one on the far left. And it looks like that's the one he's holding in, not the brake in the middle, and obviously not the accelerator on the right-hand side. So this, in theory, would suggest that this is a vehicle with manual transmission. And if that's the case, in order to drive that car, we would have to use the clutch and the brake and also shift gears manually. Now, just playing devil's advocate here, this could just be an oversight from Rockstar. We've seen little glitches and bugs like that pop up in screenshots before, not only in Grand Theft Auto 6 ones, but in previous games too. So obviously you have to take a little bit of what's seen here with a grain of salt, because just thinking about it, driving a manual car in a video game, unless it was like a racing video game, would seem a little bit tedious, especially with other things going on. It's hard enough, at least in real life, to drive a manual car without having to worry about the other things that you would face in a Grand Theft Auto game, like people chasing you or you having to catch up to someone else, people shooting at you or you shooting back at them. So I could see it being a little bit tedious, but I could also see it as, hey, why not? Let's add this feature for those fans that do actually want to drive a manual transmission car, whether it just adds a level of difficulty, whether it's what they're used to driving in real life and so they find fun in that. I think there's lots of different options there, but I did find that to be pretty interesting. Now, staying in this screenshot, there is an insane level of detail here that I think we need to pay attention to, and that is fingerprints on the screen here. So obviously Grand Theft Auto 6 coming out in 2026, we're gonna have a lot of modern cars, and a lot of modern cars have touchscreen interfaces where you can control things like the seats or the climate, navigation, settings, etc. And it looks like in this instance, Wyman has actually been touching the screen quite a bit and has not been cleaning it, because that looks like dirty fingerprints on there. Rockstar modeled fingerprints on some of the touch screens that you can see in the cars. That is an insane level of detail, and it just makes you wonder if that's something that will adjust if you're using the vehicle for a long time, will reset if you get out of the car, will reset if you're getting your car washed, which is exactly what he's doing right now, albeit I don't know if this is the most sanitary car wash and or if they'll be going on the inside of the vehicle, but you get my point. It looks like Rockstar really thought of everything to the tiniest little details of having fingerprints on the screen. That's actually something I didn't notice until I saw it go viral on Reddit for someone pointing it out, which is just so cool. Something else we might be getting in the cars and vehicles in Grand Theft Auto 6 is if you've driven in a car or you drive a vehicle, you know what these are. These are airbags. And in this one screenshot featuring Raul Batista, you can clearly see that on the sunshade that you can pull down, it's got the airbag warning thing on there. Those are posted in every single vehicle about how you have to be careful when the airbags go off, that you don't have something sitting in the seat a certain way. It's essentially just a warning that car manufacturers have to put on the car in case the airbag does go off. And this could be a feature. Could you imagine if airbags would actually deploy at an extreme high-speed crash, preventing you from being ejected from the vehicle? Because that can actually happen in Grand Theft Auto 4 and Grand Theft Auto 5 if you're driving a car at fast speeds and you run into something, you'll actually be thrown out of the windshield. And in some instances, it can actually be an instant death, like it KOs you. So could this be a feature where if your car has airbags, those will deploy, essentially rendering the car useless? If that's the case, it would certainly put an emphasis on driving a little bit more carefully. That way you just couldn't treat every single vehicle like a battering ram running into every little object you can find. There would be consequences for destroying your vehicle. One of those might be rendering it useless by the airbag going off, or you being thrown from your vehicle completely. And that's another aspect that Rockstar could introduce. I guess they could introduce seatbelts as well. I don't know how complex that would make things. Rockstar obviously has to find a nice balance of being realistic, but also not making things too complicated because it is a video game at the end of the day. So it'll be interesting to see how Rockstar does that, but that is another feature that fans spotted. It looks like airbags might be returning. Now moving on, another feature that might be coming to some of the cars and vehicles in Grand Theft Auto 6 is controllable windows. Now, I don't know if this feature is only going to be reserved for NPCs, because so far we've only seen NPCs driving the cars, but we've seen them driving vehicles where their windows are rolled down and actually rolling up and down. And my only fear for something like this is that Rockstar reserves this feature, again, for the NPCs, kind of like how NPCs have the ability to turn their blinkers on in Grand Theft Auto 5, yet we do not have that ability to do that. So hopefully that makes its way to the character, being able to roll windows down. That would look cool for car shoots or just cruising in Vice City. I think that would be a fun little feature if you could just say, hey, I want to, roll the window down. Just like you have the option, if you're in a convertible, to put the top down, it would just be like an extra level. And it looks like to a degree we've seen that in the second trailer, which is kind of cool. And I think this last one is probably a little bit more obvious. It's featured on the Rockstar Games website of Jason and Lucia going through their trunk and then shutting it. This is actually an homage to Grand Theft Auto. This is actually an Easter egg based off of a scene in GTA Vice City, which I can only imagine there's going to be so many Vice City inspired Easter eggs, because that's where we're going back to for the first time since the 3D era. But regardless, just look at all the stuff in the trunk. There's a gas can, which might imply that there's going to be some sort of fuel restriction on vehicles. This is something that fans have been wanting for a long time. It's kind of a controversial subject. Again, that balance of being too realistic versus not realistic enough. But you can also see they're loading up weapons. So I think this is going to be a feature from Red Dead Redemption 2. Instead of horses, it's cars. But you can't just walk around with every single gun on you, like an RPG and a minigun. You've got to selectively choose what you want so that it is a little bit more balanced and realistic. And maybe in that instance, it'll also be a feature to store extra fuel if you happen to run out. That would be another thing you would have to think about. That you can't just outrun the cops forever, or you can't just, use the same car over and over and over and over again, because you would eventually run out of fuel. So they could make things pretty interesting and realistic here. I don't know how many of you guys actually noticed that, but I thought that was a neat little feature. And those are the things that I think a lot of fans ended up missing from GTA 6's second trailer and the screenshots and the website that Rockstar provided as well. So again, let me know in those comments down below, did you notice any of the things we pointed out in this video, or did you already know all of them? Let me know what you're thinking in those comments down below. I'd love to hear from you guys down there. If you guys did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would of course be awesome. And be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new. You want to stay up to date on all the GTA 6 videos that I'll be doing here on my channel. And be sure to ring that notification bell as well. Sometimes YouTube just doesn't work, and if you ring that bell, you'll always be guaranteed to be notified when new videos arrive. But of course, as always, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.